This is the moment when a mundane morning becomes a living nightmare. The exact instant where the routine comfort of high finance dissolves into high-stakes terror. The air hung thick with the metallic tang of fear and cheap cologne as three figures, masked and armed, completed the hostile takeover of the First National Reserve. One massive figure, a man built like a fire hydrant named Brick, pressed a rusty pistol against the terrified forehead of poor Mrs. Henderson, the chief teller. "Nobody moves, nobody breathes, or I paint this lobby red," he bellowed, his voice ragged with misplaced aggression. The screams had already been stifled, replaced by the low, frantic sobs of the hostages, huddled miserably behind the velvet rope line. This was the terrifying peak of a very bad day, a moment of absolute crushing crisis. But just when all hope seemed absolutely lost, destiny introduced a truly unlikely and thoroughly unwilling participant. Enter Gerald. Gerald wasn't here to play the hero. Gerald was here because the notoriously aggressive flock of downtown pigeons had decided his brand new leather briefcase looked precisely like an ideal nesting site. He burst through the revolving door, gasping and swatting frantically at imaginary feathers, only to stop dead mid-stride, his eyes widening instantly to the size of saucers. The chaos, the guns, the screaming, it all registered instantly in the core of his terrified brain. Gerald, a man whose bravery levels peaked sharply at parallel parking, instantly reverted to a state of petrified jelly, convinced that if he moved even a millimeter, he would instantly become target practice. His immediate goal was survival, which currently meant integrating himself seamlessly with the potted fern nearest the bank entrance. Gerald attempted a silent, tactical retreat, a slow-motion pivot designed to reverse him soundlessly back into the relative safety of the street outside. Unfortunately, the robbers had carelessly dropped a massive wad of $50 bills onto the freshly polished marble floor. Gerald slipped violently on the smooth, slick paper, causing him to flail wildly like a startled flamingo, trying desperately to regain its footing. His wild, desperate movements caught the edge of a heavy, unattended janitor's cart loaded precariously high with industrial-strength cleaning chemicals. The heavy cart careened violently forward, hitting one robber and sending all three men slipping dramatically on the resulting chemical slick. They slid simultaneously and spectacularly into the massive, ornamental water fountain dominating the lobby. Simultaneously, a faulty wire from a nearby floor lamp, also knocked over during Gerald's clumsy fall, plunged sizzling and sparking into the churning, decorative water. The three robbers were instantly and thoroughly electrocuted, their terrified, smoking forms sinking silently beneath the water's surface. The silence that followed was absolute, disturbed only by the fizzing sound of the short circuit and the quiet dripping of the chemicals. Gerald stood amidst the smoking scene, trembling uncontrollably and drenched in fountain water and dish soap. The SWAT team, arriving seconds later, breached the doors only to find the crisis already bizarrely solved. Gerald was instantly hailed as a staggering hero by the police chief, the frantic teller, and every tearful hostage in the room. He just stared blankly back at them, forever haunted by the smell of ozone, bleach, and wet, worthless money. This is how a completely unqualified man becomes the accidental, traumatized savior of a city.